The wedding planner sounded nervous. Hi. I just wanted to confirm something, she said. Your family asked to remove you from the guest list, but they want to keep the $50,000 deposit you made. I didn't blink. I smiled and said quietly, actually, cancel the entire event. She hesitated. But ma'am, you're not the bride. I leaned into the silence.
No, I said.
But I own the venue, the catering company, and the hotel they booked for the guests. My name is Tessa Monroe, and if you think you know how this ends, stay tuned. What happens when loyalty becomes your downfall, and silence becomes your weapon? The truth is, I wasn't supposed to hear it. I wasn't supposed to get the call. They thought I'd just pay and disappear like I always did. But something in the wedding planner's tone told me, this time they'd gone too far. I pulled up the contract. Every signature, every clause. I had the power to cancel everything with a single email. Still, I didn't press send.
Not yet.
Instead, I sat with it, with the memories of growing up as the responsible one, the peacemaker, the check writer, the sister who helped pay for the down payment on Dad's house, only to sleep on the couch when I visited. I remembered when my brother got engaged, how Mom cried tears of joy, how I paid for the ring upgrade because he couldn't afford the one she deserved.
And now?
Now I was being erased from the guest list, but expected to fund the fairy tale?
No.
Not this time. This wasn't about the $50,000.
It was about dignity. Mine.
Finally. And so I sat back, opened a fresh tab, typed 6 words into the subject line. Event cancellation. Full authority confirmed, Tessa. Because sometimes, revenge doesn't come with fire. It comes with fine print. The cancellation went through at 6:09 p.m. By 6:17, my phone exploded. Missed calls, voicemails, a text from my mother. What the hell did you just do? I didn't answer. Not yet. Instead, I watched the group chat from afar. They were scrambling. My brother. Someone just told me the venue is gone? My sister-in-law to be. Is this some kind of joke?
Who does that?
My mother stayed silent in the chat, probably already rewriting the narrative, as she always did. Let me rewind. 3 months ago, they asked for help with some deposits. Just to secure a dream venue. I paid it. Quietly. Like always. Not once did they invite me to the tastings, the fittings, the rehearsals. When I asked, Mom brushed me off. You work too much anyway. Let the kids have their day.
Their day.
Their fantasy. My bank account. So I played my part. Quiet. Generous. The sister who always showed up. Until I overheard it. At brunch. They didn't know I was behind them in line. Didn't hear me pause. My future sister-in-law laughed. She's not coming, right? It's not her day. She's always so serious. And my mother? She chimed in like it was normal. Tessa doesn't need a seat. She's just the wallet. That one broke something inside me. Not a crack. A clean, sharp snap. And now, the planner had just confirmed what I feared. They didn't just forget me. They deleted me. Except I wasn't gone. I was the signature on every vendor's contract. The name on every receipt. They thought they were using me. But I'd built the entire table they were about to dine at. So I flipped it. No rage. No announcements. Just silence. Followed by a chain reaction they never saw coming. And still, that was only the beginning. Because what they didn't know was how much more I actually owned. The next day, they tried damage control. My brother called first. 6 times. No voicemail. Just silence, like maybe he thought I'd break and call back. Then finally, a message came through. Tess, I don't know what you think you heard, but we love you. This wedding means a lot to us. Please don't ruin it. I sat on my balcony, coffee in hand, watching the sky turn a pale gray. Please don't ruin it. As if I hadn't poured $50,000 into a dream I was never invited to. As if they hadn't erased me from their day. Like I was an inconvenience they could fund and forget. It wasn't just the wedding. It was every birthday I planned for them. Every emergency I paid for. Every time they whispered, "You're so dramatic," when I asked for respect.
So no.
I wasn't going to ruin it. They already had. But what they didn't know was that the venue wasn't all I owned. The catering company?
Mine.
I'd bought a controlling share in it 2 years ago after a quiet investment round. The hotel? My name wasn't on the lobby sign, but the contract was locked under Tessa M. Holdings. So when my sister-in-law's family flew in expecting rooms, they were politely told at the front desk, "Unfortunately, the booking has been canceled." The group texts turned chaotic. "We just landed. Where are we staying? Why did the shuttle never come? Wait, the dinner's not happening?" I watched it all unfold like a script I hadn't written, but definitely directed. Still, I said nothing. Because some lessons don't come through arguments. They come through absence. Absence of comfort. Absence of control. Absence of the person you thought you could step on, who finally stepped away. By nightfall, I got one last call.
Mom. Tessa.
"You've made your point. Put it back. Now." I paused and said only this.
No.
"You removed me from the guest list. I'm just respecting your wishes." Then I hung up. I didn't cry. Didn't shake. Because sometimes the cleanest revenge is simply removing the floor beneath their entitlement. The wedding was in 3 days. And now there was no wedding. The venue?
Gone.
The catering? Cancelled. The hotel block? Erased. Vendors started pulling out one by one. And still, no one wanted to admit how it had all unraveled. Because admitting the truth meant saying it out loud. We cut the woman who paid for it. Instead, they spun stories. My brother told his fiancé's parents there was a system error. My mother said the planner was incompetent. And my sister-in-law? She posted a sad little selfie captioned, "Pray for us. People don't want to see us happy." I nearly choked on my tea. Because if there's one thing narcissists hate more than accountability, it's a mirror. And that's all I'd done. Held one up. But here's what they didn't realize. The money wasn't just mine. The power was mine. I'd built that power slowly, quietly, over years of being ignored. While they laughed at me for working too hard, I was buying the very foundations they stood on. The banquet hall my brother proposed in? I own 40% of the property portfolio it belongs to. The restaurant where they hosted their engagement dinner? Managed by a chain I silently invested in last fall. Every time they used me as a credit card, I bought one more piece of their fantasy. And now, the fantasy was gone. Grandma called that night, one of the few who still had my back. "You alright, baby?" I smiled. "Yeah, just breathing different." She was quiet for a moment, then said, "You gave them too many chances. But this is the first time you gave yourself one." And that hit deeper than anything else. Because she was right. I'd spent years bending over backward, trying to buy a seat at a table I helped build. Now, I was flipping that table over. And I wasn't sorry. The silence didn't last. By morning, they were knocking. Not metaphorically, but physically. My brother at my door. Wrinkled suit. No tie. Sweat on his forehead like the guilt was finally seeping out. I didn't open right away. Let him stand there. Let him feel the weight of being unwelcome. When I did, he started talking too fast. "Tessa, look, none of this was supposed to go this far. I didn't even know they took you off the list until the planner called."
Lies.
"Sloppy ones. You didn't know?" I said quietly. "The groom didn't know who was on his own guest list?" He looked down. Like a child caught cheating on a test, he thought no one would check. Then he said the thing they always say. "You know how Mom is." I laughed once.
Dry.
"I do. And you've used that excuse for 30 years. He stepped forward like he might cross the threshold. I didn't move. "You canceled everything," he said, quieter now. "People flew in. Her family's furious. We're being humiliated." I leaned on the doorframe. "You mean I stopped funding the performance?" He didn't answer. "So, I did it for him. You let them erase me. After everything I've done for this family. You stood there and watched them call me a wallet with legs. And you said nothing." "Tess, I was trying to keep the peace. No. I cut in. You were trying to keep the fantasy. He took a breath. So what now? Is this really revenge? I shook my head. This isn't revenge. This is math. I subtracted myself. And with that, I closed the door. Not slammed.
Just closed.
Later that day, I got a DM from one of his fiance's cousins. Hey, just wanted to say, I think what you did was badass. They treat you like a Nadium. I saw it. Sometimes, strangers see what family refuses to admit. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel crazy. I felt calm. The wedding was officially off. The invitations tossed. The florist refused to refund, said the bride was rude on the phone. Karma doesn't need a calendar. It just shows up. I spent the weekend in my quiet apartment, watered my plants, listened to records Mom used to skip when guests came over. The ones that made her say, "Too emotional." It felt fitting. Then came the text from Dad. "You've made your point. Now fix it before this family falls apart." Falls apart? As if it hadn't been cracked and rotting for years. Still, I didn't respond. They wanted a savior, not a sister. They wanted someone to pick up the mess. While they blamed the broken glass on the one who refused to stay quiet. And I was done playing that part. But I wasn't done yet. Because there was one final string left to cut. The ring. The one I paid to upgrade. A $12,500 diamond my brother couldn't afford but insisted on. Make it special, he'd said. I'll pay you back after the honeymoon. He never did. And, technically, it was still mine. The receipt, the appraiser certification. All in my name. So I called the jeweler. Has it been altered? I asked. Nope, she said. Still untouched. Do you need us to reclaim it? I do, I replied. And I'd like it reset. Smaller. Simpler. For a gift. For me. Because from now on, I only wear what I own. What wasn't taken for my silence. The jeweler paused. Good for you. That afternoon, I picked it up. A small, subtle diamond on a gold band. No one else would know its story. But I would. That night, I got one last group message. My brother. We're rescheduling the wedding in 6 months. Hope you'll be there. My mother. Let's try to move forward. My reply? Just a photo. The new ring. On my finger. Captioned. Finally married to the only person who ever showed up for me myself. By Monday, the family chat was on fire. Aunt Karen sent praying hand emojis. My cousin texted, "Is this real?" My mother? She called 5 times. I didn't pick up. They weren't used to this version of me. The one who didn't explain. Didn't apologize. Didn't flinch. The woman who used to beg for crumbs. Now held the recipe to the whole table. And I wasn't serving seconds. Then came the voicemail. From my future ex-sister-in-law. Tessa, I don't know what your problem is, she snapped. But you've ruined everything. Do you realize how selfish you've been? You embarrassed all of us. You're unstable. I replayed it twice. Not because it hurt. Because it was proof. Proof that even when you give them diamonds, they'll still call you stone-hearted the moment you stop bowing. I forwarded the voicemail to my lawyer. Just in case, I wrote. Because spite has a way of showing its teeth once you stop feeding it. Then I did something no one saw coming. I booked the entire ballroom. The same one they tried to use. The one I canceled. But this time, it wasn't for a wedding. It was for a gala. For women who give too much and are thanked too little. The theme?
Reclaim.
Rebuild.
Rise.
I sent out invitations to nonprofit leaders, social workers,
Teachers.
artists. The ones like me who once believed being needed was the same as being loved. I called the florist. Peonies, I said. Soft pink. Make it loud. I called the caterers. Give them the dinner you were prepping for the wedding, but better. And when the event went live online, guess who saw it first? My mother. My brother. Her. The caption read, "When they cut you from the guest list, throw your own event and make sure healing is the VIP." Because this time, the celebration wasn't about rings or rolls. It was about finally choosing myself. The ballroom was glowing. Soft amber light. Strings playing in the corner. Laughter, Real this time, not rehearsed. No stiff smiles. No glassy eyes waiting for approval. Just women standing tall in dresses they bought for themselves, wearing stories they never had to shrink. At the center of it all, I stood, not hidden behind a clipboard or a checkbook, but seen.
Whole.
Someone clinked a glass.
They wanted me to speak.
I never liked microphones, but that night,
I didn't need one.
I raised my glass. To the women who stayed silent too long. To the sisters who paid the bill and got left off the guest list. To the daughters who held the family together while it tore them apart. Tonight, we stop asking to be invited. We build the room ourselves. Applause.
Soft.
Then swelling. And for the first time in years, my hands weren't trembling. That's when I saw them. In the far corner, near the entrance. My brother. My mother. Not in gowns or tuxes. In shame. They didn't walk in. They couldn't. They just stood there, like ghosts haunting a party they never believed I'd throw. Mom stepped forward, but a staff member gently blocked her. "This is a private event, ma'am." And I smiled, because for once, I was protected, not by a family name, not by the weight of guilt, but by boundaries, ones I built brick by brick. I watched them leave. No shouting, no drama, just the quiet end of a story that had dragged on too long. Later that night, I took off the ring, placed it in a velvet box, not out of regret, but remembrance. And I whispered, "Thank you for everything I lost." It made space for everything I found. The night ended in slow music and soft light. No wedding, no cake,